very good morning, late tea time podders around the world. Very good to see you today. And it's a special day, isn't it? We always say on here that our favourite major and the Open runs it close. But I think we both agreed on this podcast that there's something very special about the Masters DT. It's James and DT, as it is always on this podcast. But it's the Masters day one of the Masters, fast approaching. Augusta, all of the usual shenanigans in that bid for the green jacket DT. Always one to look forward to.
Yeah, absolutely. I can't wait. It's been, I worked out how many days it was since the Open, the last major, and it's what, 243 or something crazy. But never mind in that, it's just the Masters, isn't it? I've had to wait a year for the Masters. And I kind of missed out a bit last year because I was in Tokyo with the kids, so I kind of only saw fleeting glimpses of anything. So I'm really ready to throw myself into this one.
It was myself and Matt Cooper last year, wasn't it? And just watching trees falling on unsuspecting spectators.
Wow.
And what have you.
I don't know that, yeah.
So it's. I saw a little piece about that. I think there's a lady. There's a little piece about her a year later after kind of having the trees fall around her face. So yeah, high winds and stuff last year, wasn't there? And the old trees falling down. But hopefully we'll get a safer Masters tournament at Augusta this time. I'm going to put the prices across the bottom there. Scotty Scheffler 9-2, Rory McIlroy's 11. You've got John Rahm. Of course, Liv 12-1, Xander Schauffele 16s, Hideki Matsuyama 19-1, Brooks Koepka 20s, Jordan Spieth 22, Joaquin Niemann is 28-1, Ludwig Oberg is 33-1, Wyndham Clark 35s, my mate Victor's in there at 35s as well. Bryson DeChambeau is in there. I kind of forget about him. 35-1. Cameron Smith 40s. Dustin Johnson as well. He's back in the big time 40-1, and Vilsaz Zalatoris is 40-1 as well. So is Matt Fitzpatrick. Plenty more big names scrolling across the bottom of the page there as we prepare for round one. And you forget, don't you? I mean, Bryson DeChambeau was the thing everybody was speaking about for so long. He's gone to Live, and I've almost forgotten he exists.
It's weird, isn't it? He was the future of golf. He was going to be the dominant figure for years to come. And I can't remember how many years ago that he came to this tournament. Everyone thought, oh, he's going to take Augusta apart. And he said his true par here was something like 66, and he just made a fool of himself. So yeah, it's funny, isn't it? It really is, unless you watch Live, it really is a case of out of sight, out of mind. Yeah. And there's 7-8 players here that I've not seen in absolutely months. So
watching that Full Swing documentary, though, obviously the second one's out now. The one thing, or one of the things I took from that was that the Live golfers, I think they feel that they're a bit out of sight and out of mind, and this is their chance to kind of remind people they exist. So I think there's quite a lot of motivation from the Live golfers when they come to a major to kind of say, "Hey, we're still here."
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, look, last Masters, I know Rahm wasn't Live then, and he won, but the two runners-up, Phil Mickelson and Brooks Koepka, were Live. Patrick Reed, who was fourth, he's Live. So there was a definite kind of feeling that was an angle to look at, that these guys saying, don't forget about us, So I wonder, against that, though, is the idea that maybe playing a whole year of Live has kind of diluted them a bit, and maybe because they've been so long out of the competitive sort of heat of week in, week out big tournaments, that can they just sort of turn it on as easily, having played a long time out of it?
Brooks Koepka seems to be the one that can do that. I mean, it's not long since John Rahm was playing on the normal tour, so he'll be heavily motivated to get back into the throw. Yeah. Cameron Smith, just scrolling across the bottom of the screen. I mean, he was the big thing, wasn't he, for a while? He was competing in everything and goes to Live, and different kind of kettle of fish now. But going to be interesting, isn't it? It's kind of, again, it's that subtext of the Live golfers against the US PGA Tour and beyond golfers. But just before we get too far into the podcast, thank you very much to Switchwater Supplier golfclub.com for their continued support of the Late Tea Time podcast. Much appreciated. If you're a business looking to cut your water costs with golf course, any business, switching made simple. They can help you save money on your water bills. Switchwatersupplier.com. But let's get into this, DT. Let's get into this. Let's start with your first pick. We come as late as possible on the Late Tea Time podcast, hence the name. To try and get the latest news, rumours, gossip, all of the latest info to try and point us in the right direction. Where has that led us when it comes to Augusta this week?
Yeah, so obviously I had a lot of sort of preconceived ideas of what would happen this week, and it's would you learn anything else in the build-up? Certainly on Tuesday, I think this has been known for a few days, quite a while actually. The big favourite this week, Scotty Scheffler, is about to become a new dad for the first time.
Okay.
Because I think at his price, I think you've got 92 scrolling across the screen there. At that price, you kind of want absolutely everything in your favour. You've got the world's best golfer in your favour. That's a good start. But you don't want him being distracted or having something else that we hadn't really thought of. But he's got that coming up. You don't know. I mean, me and you, we had kids. We were first-time fathers once. It's quite a distract. There's a lot going on. And we weren't trying to win the Masters either.
It does give you a little bit to think about, doesn't it?
Yes, just a bit. So, and as well as kind of having that kind of slightly conceptual thought, I guess, at this stage, until he has the sort of baby with him, just the here and the right now, he's not got his wife Meredith with him, and they are a very close couple. They do, she's kind of his rock, and she's always there for his tournament wins. Like without her, it just adds another bit. I mean, he might cope fine, but it could just be that.
Well, I was going to ask you that. I mean, Scottish Scheffler 92 for a major, for Augusta, which is a hard course to play. 92 is skinny. You want, I mean, you might go ahead and win it, like you say, but it's 92 short, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, he could win by 5, but there's that kind of slightly ethereal element where you don't quite know how he'll react. The other one is, what if he has another one of his dodgy putting weeks? I know he seems to have improved of late, but what happens if he just sort of reverts back, starts missing a few, and here we go again, and suddenly, that kind of that flaw in his makeup, the only flaw in his makeup, basically everything else is brilliant at week in, week out. So I've gone away from him.
It's a course as well where you need your putter, isn't it?
Yeah. So I've sort of not gone away from him, but I'm not as enthusiastic as I perhaps was a couple of weeks ago when I thought he might be unbeatable. So I've landed on where I kind of sort of came in when I wrote this trends preview about a couple of weeks ago, or was it last week? Based on kind of things that have happened every year in the last 10. And the one who came out on top that ticked all the trends was Hideki Matsuyama. So that was a good sort of, he's got history behind him and all these trends. But I watched him in Texas last week, and I've read an interview on, I think yesterday, by the guy who does all the kind of Asian players on the PGA Tour website, and everything just looks right for him. So Hideki Matsuyama, I was on him earlier in the week, and I remain heavily on him, and I've seen a lot of good judges on him as I've read previews this week. And I've had one. And you as well, obviously, yeah. So I don't know, and then I was even stuff like, well, I was in Japan this time last year. Maybe that's sort of a little omen as well. I don't know, but that's a side issue. But yeah, just for all his great golf this year, his brilliant record at the Masters. He's won it before 3 years ago. I think it looks perfect for him because I don't think there's much kind of heat on him. Everyone's looking at Scheffler. Everyone's looking at McIlroy. They're looking at maybe Koepka, the live players. Will they come to life? Where Matsuyama's kind of, just sort of going about his business. I think that there's others people have more focus on. So the fact that he's been there and done it before, I think he's a great bet this week.
You just preempted my question there. I said it's a big thing, isn't it, to have actually worn that green jacket and know you can get across the line at Augusta, and Hideki can do that. And we've both come to the Hideki Matsuyama pick totally independently of each other. We were working together last night, and he's somebody I've like you. I've been watching him over the last few weeks. Looks to be in complete control of his game. Hasn't necessarily won, but he's been very good. And he's one player as well where, Augusta's not a course he can tame easily, but he's the sort of player that could go on a little bit of a run as well. In the same way Rory can, he could suddenly reel off a few birdies and get himself into contention.
I mean, he first played there as an amateur in 2011 and finished low amateur. I think it was 27th for the week as an amateur, which is superb. And ever since, he's always been one who thinks this place is very special. Do you remember when he won? His caddy sort of bowing at the flag, and it's just
became one of the famous moments, didn't it? Really?
Yeah. So he's got all this wonderful history there. He did win back in February at Riviera, which is a course where so many Masters champions have won as well. So all the signals, all the signs point to Hideki. So he's the big number one main bet for me this week.
Well, let's work out a strategy here, because obviously all of the bookmakers have got prices on the Masters. The best price is 19-1, but that's only 5 places with Bet Victor. You can get as many as 12 places with some bookmakers. Betfair paying out for 12 places, but he's 14-1 there. So whereabouts in terms of the placings would you want to get to on your picks this week?
Yeah, sometimes it can be kind of your individual strategy on what you do, whether you want the safety of 12 places. Because I'm so bullish about him, I would just take the bigger price.
I've played him on the nose.
Yeah, I'd be happy to forget the each way, but I'm happy just to back him to win.
I'm taking him to win the thing. 19-1, stick him on my betting slip. Come on, Hideki. You can do it. Let's see your caddy bowing again to the 18th fairway. But yeah, I mean, and he'd be a popular winner as well. And it's good for golf. Talk about the live kind of golfers leaking out of the tour. But Hideki in Japan, it's a big market, isn't it? And they will be rooting for their boy as he kind of hits off on the first hole today. So Hideki Matsuyama, the first pick this week for Masters 2024. Let's play our advert for our sponsors before we get into the rest of DT's picks this week. Switchwatersupplier.com. This is how they can help you. If you're a business looking to save money on your water bills, this is them.
All golfers want to stay away from the water. That splash as your round sinks beneath the surface is never a good sound. But golf courses rely on water to keep those fairways and greens lush. For that post-round shower or the clean glass at the 19th hole. Golf courses, indeed most businesses, spend way too much money on their water bills. Switch Water Supplier can cut your water costs and help your business save money. Register now at switchwatersupplier.com. They will do all the hard work and get your business the very best price for your water supply and claim money back if you've been overcharged. Switchwatersupplier.com. Switching made simple.
Indeed. So thank you very much to switchwatersupplier.com for their support of the Late Tea Time podcast. Welcome back then. Looking ahead to Masters 2024. James and Dave T with you. And we've put Hideki Matsuyama onto our betting slip. He's the first pick this week. What else strikes your fancy, DT?
Yeah, so in the outrights, I'm going to kind of leave it with him for now. Obviously, we're going to be doing these previews every day, so we will add players as we go along. So for now, I want to make a few bets kind of that you have to make before the off.
Yeah.
So I'm going to look at some 72-hole match bets and also some bets on players to make the cut and kind of boost them up into an ACCA. So starting with the 72-hole match bets, I've got a treble here. The first one is Russell Henley to beat Tyrrell Hatton, battle of the H's. Henley's got a great record here. He was 4th last year. He's got 11th and 15th. I think he's worst in the last 6 years is 31st. Where Hatton, it's just confused him, this course. I mean, at the best times, Tyrrell Hatton has a bit of a temper on him, but he's gone absolutely lost it a few times on this course. There's some footage I tweeted, was it last year or the year before, where he kind of does something and then he takes out his putter and starts using it as a sort of a rifle. And he's just, and then I noticed last week,
the other day.
Yeah, there was a clip of him last week, wasn't there, on Live? Yeah, going mad.
Yeah, that's reached the rough, and then he's basically C words, F words, it's flying around.
So, I mean, you've got to love him kind of thing, haven't you, really? But, and it doesn't, it's not like he then just collapses. He just has his sort of steaming moments. But on this course, he's got so many years where he's just done nothing. He's got 1/18th finish, 18th place, and the rest of it's outside the top 30. And he's just never been a factor. So even though he's got a bit of good form on the Live, Henley's got some great form on the PGA Tour this season. So Henley to win that one. Okay. Leg 1. Leg 2 is Will Zalatoris to beat Patrick Cantlay.
Okay.
Zalatoris, 2 Masters previously, 2nd and 6th. So he's taken to it like a duck to water. He's got some good form this year, especially at Riviera. That was a good excellent performance there.
Yeah, he's back and fit, isn't he?
Yeah, he's so good at majors. Whereas Cantlay's got this kind of doubt hanging over him in the majors. For a player of his ability, just not being in contention enough. So
we talked a bit about him recently, haven't we? He's always kind of at the top end of the markets, but never seems to pick up a trophy. And this is an even bigger trophy, isn't it? So.
Yeah, he's just not been delivering. He's been into this tournament in better form than he is now, and really done not much at all. So I think Zalatoris is the one I really like there. And then the other one, the final leg of the treble, I'm posing one of your players again, I'm afraid. Justin Thomas to beat Victor Hovland.
Oh.
So Justin Thomas, he's got 6 finishes of 22nd or better in his last 7 Masters. So he's always kind of puts in a decent show. I think people want more from him in terms of, challenging on the back 9, but he's pretty consistent. Where Hovland, although he played well in last year's Masters particularly, and he's done quite well, he's just not on it this year. And one thing we come to us late. One thing I've read maybe yesterday, that'd be Wednesday, was that his game's not quite right. He just can't get it to the levels that he had at the end of last year. So he said he's been working on his long game, but he's put absolutely no practice into his chipping and his short game. Well, that seems a bit of a very dangerous policy when you're about to play Augusta, where you absolutely need to be red hot around the greens. It was a previous weaknesses of Hovland that he wasn't.
That always used to be his weak link as well, isn't it?
And then he'd gone a long way to solving it. I remember at the Open last summer watching him at Hoylake on the practice ground, just flipping up chips. You thought, well, he's improved a lot on that front. But, if you let something just slide and you don't put the hours in, I think that's a bit dangerous. So Thomas, I just think, is the more reliable prospect at Augusta anyway. And with that news about Hovland kind of ignoring his short game, that really puts me in favour of JT. So Henley over Hatton, Zalatoris over Cantlay, Thomas over Hovland. That treble, 72-hole treble, pays 6.33 to 1 at Bet365.
6.33 to 1, Bet365. So I'll stick that on my little notes here. Right, so that's the treble. I mean, it's funny with the markets, isn't it? Because I can remember, was it last year we looked at these markets, obviously, and Colin Morikawa was right up there as one of the contenders. He's quite low down in terms of the bookies. So both my mates, who I regularly refer to on here, Colin Morikawa and Victor Hovland, are having a slightly skinny time at the moment in terms of their success, aren't they? But hopefully, wish them both well. Wish them both well.
Indeed, yes.
So you've got one last pick then, have you? For
So one last bet, actually. So you might need your pen here because there's a few of these. So basically, this is an ACCA, a make the cut ACCA. What I'll do, I'll leave the big one till the end. So I'll start kind of with this kind of more lower key elements. So these are just to make the cut at Augusta National this year. So the first one is Adam Hadwin, the Canadian. I backed him on the outrights, actually, throwing a dart there. But I think in terms of this market, just to make the cut, he's made 2 of his 3 cuts at Augusta. Really likes the place. He's in good form. Top 5, I think it was top 5 in the Valspar last time. Lots of good finishes this year. So he's 4 to 6 to make the cut. So I like that. And then a kind of a few safer ones. Patrick Reed to make the cut. Absolutely brilliant. Augusta record. Won this in 2018. Keeps finishing in the top 10 here or top 20. So he's 4 to 11. So I think he's a quite safe element of that make the cut ACCA. Siwoo Kim. Now, if you on the stats here, Siwoo Kim is about the sort of most solid bet you could have in this market. He's 1-3, so it's expected that he makes the cut. But in 2024, he's made all 9 cuts. 9 cuts out of 9 on the PGA Tour. He's made his last 6 cuts at the Masters. So everything suggests he should be there for the weekend. So that's what is that 3 so far?
What price was Siwoo Kim?
1-3.
Okay.
Then leg 4, just mentioned him earlier, Russell Henley. As I just said, he's made the top 30 in his last 6 Masters. He's got 2 top 4 finishes in his last 3 starts on the PGA Tour, so he's in great nick. So I expect him just to help boost those odds up. But the 2 kind of interesting ones, more interesting, even though the first one of these, Henley's 3-10, by the way. The first one of these is only 1-3. Akshay Bhatia, who won last week, it's his debut, but he's left-handed. Left-handers, as you'll know, have got a brilliant record at Augusta. I think of Mickelson, Bubba Watson, even Mike Weir, the Canadian, he won here. Just suits the way the sort of you need to shape your shots. Left-handers play, you're more in control of what would be a fade for the left-hander, so that they can work their ball around a lot of these holes which call for that shape shot. So I expect him to be boosted by last week. I don't quite know how high he'll finish this week, but I certainly expect him to make the cut. So he's 1-3. So that's what? That's 5. Yeah, have you got 5 down?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5 so far. Yeah.
Yeah. And then the final one, and here's the interesting one that takes this bet to a 9-1 acca is Tiger Woods. Tiger Woods.
Old Tigger.
Yeah. So it's always a bit of a mystery, isn't it? You sort of see, well, Tiger, how's he? Is he limping? How's he been playing? But Will Zalatoris played a practice round with him on Monday and said he seems to be playing great. Tiger's come out and said he hopes to now be able to play 1 tournament a month. That's kind of his levels that he thinks his body can handle. Where previously, I think he had plantar fasciitis, didn't he? I've had that before. It hurts on the bottom of your foot, which didn't help his walking. But it seems that he's in good shape. The general sort of word and the vibe at Augusta is that Tiger's, in nice shape. And I know he'll say stuff like, I'm here to win. And you think, well, yeah, you bounce at that because you're Tiger Woods and you can't think any other way. But I think there's a feeling that on this course, he can just kind of, it's not quite muscle memory because you still got to have the game within you now, but it seems to be that adding all his experience and the level he can still play at will add up to him having a decent week. And maybe, I think the pattern might be, he'll be kind of maybe in the top 20 after 2 rounds. Then he might fade as he fatigues a little bit. But all we need to do is for him to make the cut. And you could have this bet as a single, actually. He's 10-11 to make the cut. So it's first he's saying it's a coin toss. I always get that wrong. It's a coin toss. So yeah, I'm behind. You'd never want to have a bet where you were booing Tiger, would you? So,
Right.
but I think there are good grounds to back him to make the cut. As I say, I don't know whether he can keep it going for 4 and he might drift away, but I think he's the one that sort of boosts that treble up to something quite decent at 9-1. As I say, you could play him as a single as well.
Yeah. So Tiger, he's 100-1 to win the thing if you fancy it, but won't necessarily go that far. But good luck, Tiger. It's always good. I mean, when you've got legends of sport, and Tiger Woods is a legend of golf, you want to kind of keep them going as long as possible because they're a long time retired, and it's nice to see him getting back to well, I'm not going to say anywhere near his best, but actually back to being out there and in front of our eyes. And so yeah, good luck to Tiger Woods over the next 4 days. Is that your lot then pre-tournament?
That's the lot pre-tournament. Yeah. We'll have plenty more as we go along. Yeah.
Yeah, we're back every day because it's a major for anybody that's only just found the Late Tee Time podcast. We're with you every single week as we go through the USPGA Tour and beyond. But then for the majors, we're with you pre-tournament as we are today, and we're with you after all of the rounds. So 3 more times for the Masters as we see it through, because you get plenty of markets, don't you, as you go through a major tournament. So we'll be back ahead of round 2. That's the next time we'll see you. But just to recap on what DT's picked today, I mean, we both agree. I mean, both of us, if you come independently to us, we'd have both said this. Hideki Matsuyama is the Late Tea Time podcast pick to win the Masters. He's 19-1 best price. Then a 72-hole match treble, Russell Henley to beat Tyrrell Hatton, Will Zalatoris to beat Patrick Cantlay, and Justin Thomas to beat my mate Victor Hovland. And that is a 6.33 to 1 treble with Bet365. Then 6 picks to make the cut, 9-1 these add up to. Tiger Woods is the most notable at 10-11, but the others to make that up: Adam Hadwin, Patrick Reed, Siwoo Kim, Russell Henley, and Akshay Bhatia. So good luck, DT, with your bets. Good luck out there, everybody, and with your bets. Enjoy the Masters. I think you can't help but enjoy the Masters, DT. It's the best, isn't it? It's the best.
I think so, yeah. I think so, yeah.
Anyway, I will see you ahead of round 2, Dave Tindall. And I will see you as well, Late Tea Time podders around the world, ahead of round 2 as well. Gamble responsibly. This has been a late... no, it hasn't. It has been the Late Tea Time podcast, but it's been a sports broadcast media production. And we will see you, as I say, ahead of round 2. Augusta, come on, bring it on. It is the Masters. Enjoy, everybody, and we'll see you soon. Cheers all.
Always gamble responsibly. Visit begambleaware.org for more information.